All right, everybody, here we are with our hose nozzle silhouette, which this big round spot looks to me like a body and this looks like a head. So I'm going to start using some simple shapes to build up my character. And I'm going to do this kind of quickly in the interest of time. I'm not trying to make a super long video here. So I'm starting off with a couple of ovals for eyes, and I'm going to put those pupils in pretty soon. That kind of helps to establish some personality right off. From there, I'm going to come down here with a little bit of an altered triangle for a beak, and I'm going to add in some legs. So here I want this to be kind of expressive and use some perspective, so I'm going to bring those legs out kind of exaggerated. And from the bottom, I'm going to give it these kind of triangle shapes that are going to turn into the webbed kind of foot. And something like that. And I can work on those a little bit later. All right, so I'm going to imagine a vanishing point right behind the body here because I want to give this some perspective. It's going to become a sidewalk. Going to have a storm drain down there. And remember, with a vanishing point, your lines, your perspective lines here would always eventually meet that vanishing point. So you should be using a ruler for this. Again, I'm just trying to, whip something together here in the interest of time. So what I'm doing is setting up my space so that I can know when I draw a house over here, the roof is not going to go higher than that. The bottom is not going to go lower than this. Over here, this is going to become my storm drain. And this is cartoonish, so I'm not putting a lot of detail into anything, just giving it enough line work to give you the information. All right, but back to our character here. So I've got some kind of strange bird. I'm going to go ahead and fill in those pupils because really they kind of creep me out without the darker value. All right, and then I'm going to give him kind of a tail back here. Looks a little bit like a Perry the Platypus tail. Change that angle a little bit. There we go. A little bit happier with that. And again, this is just your simple shape, so you can turn that into feathers later if you want. Kind of give them a couple weird, I don't know, peacock hair type feathers coming out of the top. Anyway, now I'm going to start with a tree line. And remember that when we are looking at a group of trees in a distance, you're going to have a real kind of organic line that represents the group of trees, not the individual trees. Over here, I'm just going to kind of throw in a couple simple shapes for my house. That's going to be the front garage area. And then that roof is going to pull back kind of this direction until it goes on out to that side. Going to drop these down for that interior space. And the driveway is going to come out from kind of about there. Throw in a rectangle here for the garage door. And I can give it a couple more trees over here. Really, I just want like one house to give it the impression that it is on a street in a neighborhood. A little bit of texture for the roof shingles. I'm not trying to draw every single shingle by any means. Okay, erasing that planning line, the perspective line that I don't need anymore. I'm going to, I don't like the way that these perspective lines have happened, so I'm going to fix that. That's a little bit better, but I need to adjust here. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to give myself one of those crossing areas, which these are guidelines, and it's going to set up the rectangles that you would see when you are crossing that road. And see, here is a classic mistake. I'm not going toward my vanishing point on all these lines. That one looks good. This one's legit. This one's starting to get weird. It should look like this. And that was just a brain fart on my part. And get those out of here. Again, your eraser is just as much a drawing tool as the lead is, so plan on using it. There we go. That's better. Okay, so these are always painted white. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up that shape, finish up that shape, tuck that behind the foot, and erase where I don't need. This is pretty much the setup. I'm gonna add some color a little bit later, not a lot. And what I suggest for this is that whatever you have in the foreground, you're going to give it some bolder color, and whatever you have in the background, keep it kind of dull. You can use markers for this if you want. Really, I recommend if you have a black marker, outline your line work, because in cartooning, that's generally what you're going to see anyway. I think I'm going to work on this a little bit, because I don't think I like it as just that regular shape. Give it some feather detail or something. Nope, don't like that either. I don't know. I'll play with that a little bit, and I will upload a picture of what I come up with once I'm a little happier with it. Because it is a cartoon, I'm going to throw in just a little bit of kind of expressive lines here that would be going toward the vanishing point, but they are, like I said, they're just kind of expression. So they're not really meant to represent anything in particular. Anyway, there is an example of how to put together a scene. For your background, I am requiring that you create a sense of space. Perspective is a great way to do it, but I do want to see overlapping. So here, the main body overlaps the tail, which overlaps the trees. It also overlaps this other side here. This foot overlaps that painted crosswalk area. You have to show me overlapping at least 3 examples. Okay, like I said, I'll upload a picture of the finished product. Otherwise, be creative and enjoy.